we get sewer up and running and we increase our commercial base, we may see that the ride and public transportation is an attractive option for our town, because it will bring more revenue in as our broader commercial base is now readily accessible to people outside of North Reading.
And Mr. Giardino?
I have another minute?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know what? I really think that our this town does not do enough for its seniors, and that's what I really believe. It is the fastest growing group in this town, okay? And for us to say, well, you know, we have to see what the cost is. It is the fastest growing group in this town. It is probably the group that we allocate the least of any individual group. It's the group we allocate the least amount of money to in the budget, and that's a fact, okay? So, and you know, to me, I think that we need to do more. We talk about the trash, and we say, well, you know what, we can't do it. We talk about this, we talk about that. All the few issues that the seniors have, all right, we end up saying, no, we can't do that. And I'm not in favor of that. I'm in favor of, you know, of a group that needs to be addressed. I feel very strongly that one of the issues for seniors that you cannot underestimate, okay, is the feeling that they will be forced out of their home here in North Reading, that they've lived here all their lives, 25, 30 years. They built these places. They built these schools. They built all of this. And they feel that they're going to be forced out of their home. And it is a critical issue of mine, and it's something that I do not take lightly.
Thank you. This will be the last question, and it's going to go to Ms. Michener first, and then after this round of questions, we'll go to your closing statements. So the question is, what reassurances can you give to parents of school-age children regarding the future of the North Reading Public Schools and the issue of quality in the public schools?
As a member of the Board of Selectmen, for those of you who don't know, I have 3 children that all attend North Reading Public Schools, so I'm sure most of you thought I was probably not for the schools when I said that I thought that the override maybe didn't need to occur this year. However, of course, I would do everything within my means to work with the school committee to make sure that the quality of our education doesn't take another hit like it did this year, and move it forward. And I've talked a lot about grants, and I actually was speaking with one of the committee members last week when we were talking about different things that we could do to bring grants in. And one interesting one that we discussed was there's a federal grant where we could, this is dual-fold, it's great for the science in the schools, and it also is a gift that keeps on giving. It was a grant that the science classes could build solar panels, and then those solar panels were used to make the school more energy efficient. So I think I have a lot of interesting ideas about schools, that ways to fund them and ways to have service learning in the schools.
And Mr. Giardino,
Can you repeat the question, please?
What reassurances can you give to parents of school-age children regarding the future of the North Reading Public Schools and the quality of the schools?
You know, I am a believer in North Reading. I really believe in this community. I really believe in its people. But you know, assurances about where things are going, that's very difficult in hard economic times. I think that what you can assure people is that we will work hard to do everything in our power to maintain the school system. In my first year as selectman, I negotiated $600,000 to come out of the town budget to go to the school budget, so that the school budget could be balanced, all right, without an override. And since then, I worked very closely with the school department, the school committee. I'm now vice chair here of the Board of Selectmen, and as part of that I work on the finance team with the school department. And I think that there are things that can be done. What has to be done here, okay, is we have to increase revenue. We have to cut costs, okay? One of the things that has to be done is we have to look at new alternatives, new decisions, not just on the school, not just on the town side, but on the school side. We need to look at consolidations. We need to look at cost savings, all right? I think that the fiscal advisory committee that we have formed, the Board of Selectmen have formed, is going to be critical to work with the schools to try to maximize these savings. And that's where it's going. Where it's going is that you've got to maximize revenue, okay? And you've got to maximize savings. And that, I think I have a track record of doing. We raised $1.3 million this year to give to the school side, and we did not lay off a single person. Not lay off a single person to do it, okay? And it's because we were creative in the financing, we were creative in trying to find new ways to cut expenses, we were creative in trying to find new ways to add revenue. It was very effective. Can we do it every year? Well, some of it we can do every year, all right? Some of it we can.
Okay. And Mr. Delaney?
What we can do every year, in multi-years, is long-term financial planning, which, once again, I have to reiterate, has not been done here. That's how we balance town government and school government. We come to a balance. I don't think anyone sitting in this room or anyone at home is looking to have what Wellesley or Weston has. All we're looking to do is be in the middle, be an average, be within our peer group. As the benchmark study showed, we are not there. We're the bottom tier of our peer group. We're 13th from the bottom, statewide. This is North Reading, a vibrant, affordable community in which we are jeopardizing the future of our community, the school children of this community. One of the reasons why I stepped forward to become a candidate for Board of Selectmen is because I wanted to provide more for my children as my parents did for me. And this is one way I can do that. I know a lot of hard work went into the budget this year with the Board of Selectmen. However, I must say this. If you keep a record of votes concerning schools and override, sorry, Mr. Dinino, you were the lone vote against having the override to give the townspeople an opportunity to choose what they wanted for their services. You were the lone vote. You wished to remove the override question from the ballot. You voted, essentially, to take away the right of every citizen in this community to vote what they wanted to fund and what they didn't want it to fund. As a Board of Selectmen, I will not do that. Our role, if you look at the town charter, is to make a recommendation to the townspeople, and you have the greatest vote. You choose what you want to support and not support.
Thank you. And we're going to go to the 1-minute rebuttal. Ms. Michener, would you like to say anything?
No, thank you.
Okay. And Mr. Dardino?
I'm so very glad you said that, Mr. Delaney. I'm so very glad. Because you know what? If that's the difference between us, it is absolutely the difference between us. If you want to vote for someone who will put an override on the ballot year after year after year, I'm not that guy. If you want to vote for a guy that's going to look at the budget and try his hardest to make that budget fit in the dollars we have, then I'm the guy, okay? What I'm telling you, my goal is that when I say to you, we need an override, and that's what my history is. When we did an override for the police station, I told everybody, I've looked at this, there's no other alternative, we need an override. I believe people believe me, and they passed the override. Last year, I said the 3-year override is wrong. I'm just going to tell you what I think, but when I talk fiscal, I want you to believe me, okay? I said I supported the 1-year override. I believe very strongly that the 1-year override did not pass because we put up a 3-year override, okay? So that's my goal. That's what I want you to believe. So if that's what you think is the difference between us, I'd agree.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Delaney, you get another minute.
Thank you. Mr. Dardino, I believe the difference between us is that I would push immediately for long-term planning. Your term of 3 years is about to expire. There's been no long-term plan in this community. That's why the townspeople are faced with the possibility of a yearly override. I agree. You can't go to the townspeople on a yearly basis and ask for an override. That does not make sense. Override should be used sparingly. They should be used for essential services. Police, fire, and education. To me, they're all one. It's not 1, 2, or 3. What we want, top public safety and top education. I tell you, whether or not you have school children, public safety in education will increase or certainly affect the decrease in your home value.
Okay, thank you. And there are still tons of questions, but that's all the time we have. So we're going to move to the closing statements, and each, you have 3 minutes for the closing statement. And according to the rotation, we're going to Mr. Dardino first.
Up again?
Yeah.
Well, thank you, thank you. Can I start now?
Yes?
All right.
Okay.
I want to thank the League of Women Voters for hosting the candidates night. I also want to thank my fellow candidates for their willingness to serve. I've lived in this town for 21 years. I am raising my kids here, have put them through school, and now into college. I love this town and its people. They have been and remain a forward-looking, creative, and accomplished people with a long history of dedicated volunteerism. From the early days of Kids Spot in Hillview to Ipswich River Park and the award-winning rebuilding of the Batch, the people of this town have accomplished a lot. Because of this tradition, I believe in the future of North Reading. As volunteers, Kathy and I have worked all our lives on kids issues. Kathy is one of the founders of the youth ministry at St. Teresa's and was one of the founders of Narissa, which has gone on to such great success. I have been involved with kids since my high school days as a park instructor. I was president of Little League for over 10 years and am president emeritus to this day and for as long as they will have me. I have served on many youth boards over the years and coached and mentored many young people. As a certified public accountant with a master's in taxation and a longtime North Reading resident, I felt that 3 years ago I could make a difference on the Board of Selectmen, and I think I have. I have fought to cut costs and increase revenue. I have fought to ensure that we fund the right things in the right manner. In my first season, I worked with the school committee to transfer $600,000 from the town side of the budget to the school side. I have fought conservative forecasting all through years on the board and pushed to cut health cares, which was spiraling out of control. I believe that we must find a way to live within our means. We cannot depend on overrides year after year. It has been a 3-year fight, but because of these issues, we were able this year to reinstate school on Wednesday afternoons and reduce the level of study halls in the middle school and high school in the coming year. We raised over $1.3 million to put to the school budget and did not lay off a single town employee. I am proudest of that. When the budget process began, there were proposals to cut the library by over $100,000, make recreation entirely fee-based, and eliminate numerous positions. I would not agree, because I believe that there was another way, that by tapping reserves, by examining expenses, and pushing revenue options, we could find the money, and we did. I believe that the people of an organization are its lifeblood. Look at the people that work for this town, from our school teachers to the great work with seniors, to recreation, youth services. For general government and for schools, laying off people has to be the absolute last resort. All other expenses must be examined first before one person gets fired. We have all worked for organizations where the threat of layoff was a cloud overhead, and it has a very chilling effect on that organization. I guarantee you that I will continue to vote in that manner as long as I am a selectman. I have worked on many issues in my time as a selectman. I have done long-range planning. We have put together a 3-year budget. I have negotiated contracts with Verizon and Comcast to bring competition to North Reading. I have worked with the Information Technology Group to bring North Reading to the 21st century with voicemail and an award-winning website. I have worked with the Council on Aging to transfer land from the town to be used to build senior housing. Finding a way to allow seniors to stay in North Reading after living their whole life here has been a great concern of mine. I have been fortunate enough to play a role as liaison to the Martins Pond Group, as dedicated and hard-working a group as this town has. I am proud to be associated with them. I believe my role as selectman is to represent every citizen, to do what is best for the entire town, and that is what I think I have done. Please vote on May 6th. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Sorry to be long.
Well, everyone else gets another 30 seconds.
30 seconds, okay.
Okay.
That's fair.
Mr. Delaney?
Ms. Moran, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Farrell. Thank you, Ms. Moran. Thank you to the League of Women Voters for inviting me and giving me the opportunity to present why I believe I'm the best candidate for selectman for North Reading. Thank you for the residents of North Reading who have come and joined us here this evening and those that are viewing at home. I ask you on May 6th to come and vote. Exercise your constitutional right and vote. I also thank Mr. Dardino and Ms. Mitchner for getting involved and stepping forward, and Mr. Dardino for his 3 years of service to the town of North Reading. I ask you to come and vote on May 6th and cast your vote for me. 9 years ago, my wife Cheryl